it's me, Billy. So I'm going to go over today my extraction day, which was January 3rd, 2024. I went into Affordable Dentures around 1 p.m. I didn't get anything like Valium or anything to calm my nerves. I actually went to work that morning. I'm a nurse. Worked up until noon. And then I went in for my extractions. My husband drove me. When I got there, I only waited there in the waiting room maybe 5 minutes. Of course, I paid my $1,300 as soon as I walked in. And I went back and they took me right back to the procedure room, which almost felt like a little closet. It was so tiny. And they came in and they took the topical numbing stuff and put it all in here. So it numbed it all up. And then they did like a dry fit of my partials to make sure they had the right ones and they were gonna fit. That is when they discovered that my bottom was missing 2 teeth. So they're like, you probably aren't gonna get your bottoms until tomorrow. Is that okay? But we have an on-site lab at our Affordable Dentures, and he's like, I'm gonna try to get them done before she has to leave. He tried, but he wanted to do quality work, higher quality. So I said, I'll just come back tomorrow afternoon and get them. So they numbed me up, and I was freaking out. I didn't get any Valium or anything to calm me. All I got was the topical and the shots, and I was shaking. And the dentist, he was very kind. He's like, do you want me to have her hold your hand? Don't worry, I do this all the time. You don't ever do this, that's why you're scared. He's like, if you feel any pain or any discomfort, just raise your hand. So numbing was the worst. It hurt so bad getting those shots. But when I was numb. My eyes were numb. I was numb over here, my ears, my whole face. Just all this was numb. I tried getting my husband to pierce my nose. That's how numb everything was. So they started pulling my teeth. I didn't even know they had started. I thought he was just kind of assessing the situation. And then I felt a little twinge of pain over here. I raised my hand. He's like, are you feeling pain or are you feeling pressure? And I was like, I'm feeling pain. So he gave me another shot right here, which I felt that shot. And then they just continued, and it took, less than 20 minutes to get these pulled. And he's like, okay, I'm done. And I'm like, are you serious? You're done? I didn't feel pressure. I didn't feel anything. I looked at my teeth that were in the cup just to see, and I have this thing with teeth that grosses me out. And then he sewed me up. That took just as long as pulling the teeth. And then, of course, I got my mouth full of gauze. And, they went and did an x-ray to make sure they weren't missing anything. And then I went and sat in, like, a consultation room. And kind of sat there for a little while the bleeding kind of calmed down. Made sure I was okay. After the procedure, they want you to stick around for a while. Sorry, this is all over the place. I am recording this on my iPad. So I sat there maybe half an hour, and they came in and they said they were just gonna do a whole new mold of my bottoms since the teeth are out. Let's just do a mold, and he made my bottoms from start. Instead of trying to fix the ones that they had already started. So I got the mold, and then they gave me my top partials. And then I was done. I mean, it was very quick. I was out of there in less than 2 hours. I didn't have a whole lot of bleeding, a lot of drooling. And I thought I was going to go back to work the next day. I probably would have if I would have had my bottom partials. I'm a home hospice nurse, so, and it would have been our meeting day, so I could have just probably just hung out in the office. But since I didn't have my bottom partial, I was like, I am not going in. So all I told my work was, is I'm having a dental procedure done, because I didn't want to answer all the questions leading up to getting it all done, because I was nervous. I was scared. I wanted it done, but I was scared. I'm a chicken for pain. So on the way home, I texted my boss a picture of my mouth all swelled up in gauze, and she was like, oh my gosh, what the hell happened to you? I said, well, I got 12 teeth removed, and I'm probably not going to be in tomorrow. So I took the next day off, went in and got my partials. But at home that night, the numbing, it slowly wore off, and as it wore off, I got an aching. I wouldn't say like a severe pain, but an aching. You know, I used ice packs. I think the aching was more of where I got my shots. That's what hurt. So I had Tylenol 3s and antibiotics prescribed. So I took a Tylenol 3 before the numbing all wore off. Ice packs, I just relaxed with my head elevated. I have puppy pads, and I laid on one of those because I was drooling. And though I wasn't bleeding, I had bloody drool. So, but I didn't have to use too much gauze. I'm lucky I really didn't bleed too much. Let's see, what else? Swallowing, drinking, that was difficult that first day. I wanted to use a straw, but you know, you can't use a straw because you'll get dry socket. So literally I had to put a puppy pad and take a drink, and most of it ran out of my mouth. And you know, my husband had a good laugh at me. But you know, that night I kept these in that night. I didn't take them out at all until the next day, right before I went in to get my bottoms. I took these out, did a saltwater rinse, and put them back in. And then I went and got these in, and it was uncomfortable putting them in, but I'd say out of both of these are the ones I don't notice at all. My bottoms. They were loose within like 2 weeks, but once I got my soft reline, they were fine. So then I went home, and I kept these both in for 24 hours, took them out the next day, did saltwater rinse, put them back in. I slept with them that second, well, it'd be a third night for this one, for my tops. Slept in them again, and then took them out, saltwater rinse, and then I started with the wearing them during the day, taking them out at night. My stitches, it was almost the 2-week mark. It was like 2 days before, and part of it popped loose, and it was just dangling there, and it was bugging me and bugging me and bugging me. So I just snipped the one end, and I literally just fished them through and pulled them out. No issue. I was healed. I wasn't bleeding. I didn't have any issues. So, yeah, besides that, I mean, I really had a extremely smooth time. But granted, I kept all my back teeth. Prior to this, the only teeth I've ever had pulled were 3 wisdom teeth. And 2 of them I was kind of knocked out for. I had the Valium and all that. This wisdom tooth, this is a whole nother story. So I used to live up north in North Dakota, and one winter I fell and slipped on the ice and hit my head on the corner of a concrete step. And because it was work related, because I was at work when it happened, I had to go into the hospital and get the CT scan. Everything was fine, except for, he said, my wisdom tooth here, it had grown up into my sinuses. So I have to go into an oral surgeon to get that done. which I'm not looking forward to, but eventually I'll get it done. But I've only had these pulled, and so I was terrified. Like, I was shaking when he was doing my teeth. But once it was done, I mean, totally worth it, 100% worth it. The only issues I've had is like down under my tongue, there's one little spot that, since I got my soft reline, kind of rubs, so it almost feels like a callus under there, and it kind of hurts. So I just numb it in the morning. I put a little bit of Benzodent on it, and it's fine during the day. The whining you're hearing is my grand dog, Juno. She's dramatic. And then I have bone spurs. As my gums shrink, especially right here, I have bone spurs, and they hurt. So in the morning, like I said in past videos, I numb it with Orajel, and then, you know, I finish getting ready, so it's all numbed up, and then I put Benzodent in my denture itself, and then I slide it on there. And most of the times I have a sharp pain, like 10 out of 10 pain. It lasts a second, and then the Benzodent kicks in. It keeps it numb during the day. I haven't had too much of an issue up here on my tops. That's really it. And, you know, I struggle to talk. You can kind of hear it. And eating, I cannot bite through. These are my temporaries. You can see they're kind of off, but that's fine because they weren't made together, whatever. They're constantly shifting and changing because my gums are shrinking and all that. What was I saying? So, yeah, no problems on the top really. But the eating, I can't bite through stuff, which is normal. And before I got my soft reline, I would eat, or like taking a drink or taking a pill, I'd almost swallow my partial. Got the soft reline, it was staying pretty good, but now it's starting to get loose. I noticed yesterday when I was eating that it kind of popped up when I was eating, so, and I have 2 weeks before I go in for another soft reline. But chewing hasn't been hard because I got my back teeth, so it's the biting through stuff. So I cut everything real small and eat it that way. I don't sleep with these. I have dogs. I'm babysitting these dogs. These are my daughter's dogs. But I have my own dogs at home, and I have a puppy, a mini pin puppy. And if you've ever had a miniature pinscher, you know they chew on everything. And I'm terrified that they might fall out of my mouth, and Penny will chew them up in the middle of the night, because that's what Penny does. But I'll do another video about kind of like my morning and my night routine, and you know, I just had an easy go at this, really. I've had no issues. I was nervous about going to Affordable Dentures because everything I've heard, but you know, I got lucky with mine, and they were great. I love them. My teeth aren't perfect, but they are perfect compared to what they were. You can kind of see my little, but as my gums shrink, it gets less and less, so. Well, thank you for watching, and I don't know when I'll do another video. I might do one of my like nighttime routine or something when I get back home. I don't have all my stuff here. I only took what I could fit or was allowed on the plane. But thank you, and I will talk to you all later.